Hey, yo, what's the deal? Miss your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I mean? As a this recording, it is 5:34 p.m., but the upload time to this is actually 11:30 p.m., November 25th, 2025. You know what I mean? And I have a topic that I actually pushed to the side because I definitely wanted to talk about this. You know, and this is fucking laughable. And I have another topic in this one that I'm gonna speak on briefly. You know what I mean? But I gotta talk about Mercedes Mone. You know what I mean? I gotta talk about everyone's favorite light skin. everyone's favorite fucking light skin. Like, come on, man. Like, it seems like every time, like when with the not only the journalists, but with just the people who shill for AEW. Like, they make up all this bullshit. And it's like, man, it's fucking crazy when you legit think about it, right? So, we see what happened on Saturday night with the match with her and Statlander, right? Shout out to Chris Statlander. You know what I mean? She would do fucking wonders in WWE. Shout out to her. Mercedes did lose the championship. She did lose the match. Yeah, she lost the match, right? But this report just continues to make her reputation look more bad and bad and bad. So it was reported by Fightful. It was reported by the Wrestling Observer and, backed up by Fightful that Mercedes doesn't refuse. She doesn't refuse to lose matches, right? Which is complete bullshit. It is so fucking bullshit. It's almost downright scary, yo. You know what I mean? It's downright fucking scary. And I'm like, wow, this is beyond fucking funny, B. You know what I'm saying? It's beyond funny. Let me read what it said, okay? I'm going to read this. I didn't even put this on my website, but I will definitely put that, sometime either tonight or tomorrow, right? So it says, according to a report from Dave Meltzer on today's edition of the Wrestling Observer Radio, that assumption that Mercedes Mone, refuses to lose or to do jobs, that assumption is incorrect. This also backs up a recent Fightful Select report. Responding to a fan question comparing the Hurt Syndicate to the past AEW runs of Miro and Aleister Black, Meltzer pointed out how Bobby Lashley has not been pinned in AEW, and neither he nor Shelton Benjamin were included in the Continental Classic. He explained that entertaining the round robin tournament guarantees taking losses unless you win it outright, which is why certain wrestlers tend to avoid it, he says, right? But I want to focus more on Mone, right? So Mone, however, is not one of those talents despite the TBS championship reign of over 545 days and holding 13 titles across various promotions. It was noted that her success isn't a result of refusing to lose, Meltzer stated. This is what he said. I know some people jump on Mercedes, but Mercedes loses when the time is right. I've never heard of any problems with Mercedes losing, but also you shouldn't be Mercedes. You shouldn't be beating Mercedes often. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I'd fuck the shit out of Mercedes Mone. I would, but we know this bitch has creative control. She clearly has a lot of creative control, right? Think about this for a minute, right? If she's not refusing to lose, right? Why the fuck is she taking bookings that she's charging a fee for $25,000 a booking? $25,000. You know what I mean? And every match that she goes into, she wins the promotions championship. Huh? How the fuck is that not, using your creative control and not refusing to lose? Or not refusing to lose. How is that not the case? How the fuck is that's not the case? She's she's refusing to fucking, she's refusing to do a job. She's refusing to do jobs and she's refusing to lose. Plain and simple. So this is bad. This is a real bad stain on Mercedes Moné's reputation. It really, really is. Let me get to the next part because I want to talk about this briefly with Apollo Crews. So Apollo Crews came back to WWE on Saturday night, but for AAA, right? Where he issued an open challenge. And I think this is a good look for him. I think, I don't think WWE has any major plans for Apollo Crews on the main roster as we speak. So I think as of right now, they're just using Apollo Crews, just for roster space on AAA, which is not bad. Which is not bad. I mean, could they strike some success with Apollo Crews? Yeah, it's a possibility. Apollo Crews' best WWE work was when not only he turned heel, but he used his Nigerian, he used his Nigerian background and such, right? He had an accent and everything else, right? Other than that, they really haven't done anything with him. And it's shocking because Apollo Crews has a build, right? He has a build that people in WWE love, right? And he has a good wrestling ability. Only thing is that he fucking smiles. But the thing is with Apollo Crews, he hasn't really, since coming up the main roster, right? He has not really had like that huge level of success. After the heel turn stuff, it's kind of like they dropped the ball. Right? After the whole Nigerian stuff, they basically dropped the ball and shit. But remember, he was tag teaming with Baron Corbin. And that could have, it went well for a while. You know what I mean? But then Baron Corbin got released by the company and it left Apollo Crews stuck, right? So what do you do with Apollo Crews? I made a video earlier saying, talking about Apollo Crews, saying how, WWE, I don't know what the future holds for Apollo Crews. It's not a bad look. It's not a bad look for Apollo Crews. I think, he can, WWE can build him back up by, using AAA to their advantage to build up Apollo Crews and make him become, AAA mega champion and such, because the guy is talented. They need talent for AAA. And speaking of AAA, they actually struck a deal with Fox Mexico. So they're going to be on TV, and I think it's going to be on Tubi as well. So that's not a bad look. And again, this just hurts AEW that much more. What happened to Ring of Honor? What happened? But going back to Apollo Crews, I think this is a good look for him. But the thing is, is this for the long haul? Or are they just using him until his contract is almost up and then they let him go? That's a good question that you got to ask yourself. What do you do with Apollo Crews? Because he is talented. I think Uha Nation is beyond talented. I just think that, he just had a couple of bad breaks and such. But it's not bad to bring him, it's not bad to bring him in AAA. It's really not. If they can use him as part of their roster and such as a place to work, great. He works in Mexico and he works a couple of matches and such. Maybe, they can turn him into a star and such, or like they'll probably have him down there. It's just, I don't know what WWE's plans are with Apollo Crews, but I think this is a good look. I really do think so. Anyway, guys, I'm about to be out. I will be making some more videos tomorrow because I had a topic that I was going to talk about, but the Mercedes Moné thing kind of like, flipped that upside down. So anyway, I would flip her ass upside down. I'd fuck the shit out of her. You know what I mean? But anyway, guys, I'm about to be out. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.